Senior High School on Air.
Senior High School on Air. The frontline of quality and excellent learning.
Excellent learning. You have all the best of the best.
Best of the best of the
Sa
best.
magandang umaga, handa na ba kayong matuto?
Naghanda na po.
Reading and writing.
Pagbasa at pagsusuri ng teksto tungo sa pananaliksik.
Practical research 1.
English for academic and professional purposes.
Ability and statistics.
General Biology 2.
Disciplines and ideas in applied social sciences.
Cookery and more.
Senior High School
Best of the best of the best of the best.
Hello, grade 11 learners. Welcome to another on-air session, encumbered with numeracy electrifying learning experiences, drafted just for you. I hope you're having a great day. I'm your mentor on duty, and this is another episode of Statistics and Probability, your calculation, your solving skill. I am Hensley or Marcus. I know that you're very excited for this energizing learning experience, so stay tuned and let's get started. Reminder, dear learners, before we start, first, make sure that you are in your most comfortable place to study. And make sure you can clearly hear our today's broadcast. Oh yes! We are blessed to start another quarter. Of course, statistics and probability is like a ride. There is always another one to come. Can you give me a loud hooray if you're ready to begin for a new learning? Class, think of a tangible thing that you wanted to have the most. What is it? Do you want to know the probability of having it? If you do, buckle up because we shall start your journey in statistics and probability after this break.
Taho! Taho kayo dyan! Di makatulog sa gabi sa kaiisip, damdamin ko'y mayroong lungkot hanggang sa panaginip. Oh, Berto, di ka ba nakatulog kagabi? Hindi nga ho, Kuya Pekto. Dala ho siguro ng lungkot ng pag-iisa dito sa bahay. Di ho kasi makalabas dahil sa COVID-19. Hay. Berto, may 3 bagay na dapat kang tandaan para maiwasan ng lungkot sa mga ganitong sitwasyon. Una, alamin ang dahilan ng iyong kalungkutan. Pangalawa, maaaring ipabatid ang iyong nararanasan sa mga taong malalapit sa iyo. Nariyan ang internet para makausap mo sila. At ang pangatlo, ilaan mo ang iyong oras sa mga bagay na ikaw ay magiging abala. Hindi lang pisikal na kalusugan ang mahalaga, Berto, pati pang kaisipan rin. Tatandaan ko yan, Kuya Pekto. Maraming salamat sa payo. Isang paalala mula sa kagawaran ng edukasyon at ng himpilang ito.
And we are back, learners. I hope everyone is ready and excited to learn because we are about to explore new ideas and knowledge in the world of statistics and probability, particularly in discrete probability distributions. Our lesson for today's episode will focus on 3 points. 1. The definition of discrete probability distributions. 2. The conditions of a probability distribution. And 3. The construction of a probability distribution. Hence, you will be able to illustrate a probability distribution for a discrete random variable and its properties. To start with, I would like to ask some questions. Imagine that you have 10,000 pesos to buy your favorite K-pop idol's merchandise online. Do you know that you can use the concept of probability distribution to predict the possibility of getting scammed or not?
Ooh!
let's go over to the important concept of discrete probability distributions. How do we describe discrete probability distribution, learners? Precisely, the probability distribution of a discrete random variable x shows the probabilities associated with all possible outcomes. It may be expressed in tabular, formula, and graphical form. Class, let's have a run through to the properties of a probability distribution. How do you know if a probability distribution is discrete? Absolutely. The probabilities in the probability distribution of a random variable x must satisfy the following two conditions. 1. Each probability, p of x, must be between 0 and 1. In symbols, p of x is greater than or equal to 0, but lesser than or equal to 1. 2. The sum of the probabilities of the values equals 1. In symbols, summation of p of x is equal to 1. Now that we're done identifying the basic concepts of discrete probability distributions, are you ready for the construction of probability distribution through tabular, formula, and graphical form?
Oh yeah!
Alright, let's start with the given problem. Suppose 3 cell phones are tested at random in preparation for the online class. Let D represent the defective cell phone, and let N represent the non-defective ones. If we let X be the random variable for the number of defective cell phones, construct the probability distribution in tabular and formula forms. Then draw the corresponding probability histogram. In order to answer this, our first step is to determine the sample space. How many possible outcomes do we have? Certainly, we have 8 possible outcomes, since 3 cell phones are tested at random. This will be NNN, NND, NDN, DNN, NDD, DND, DDN, and DDD. How about our second step? Indeed, count the number of defective cell phones in each outcome. So, the corresponding value of the random variable x, or number of defective cell phones, will be 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3 respectively. Hence, there are 4 possible values of the random variable x, such as 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now, we are ready to construct a tabular form of the probability distribution by simply constructing a table consisting of 5 columns and 2 rows, since we only have 4 possible values. The input for the first column and its rows will be the number of defective cell phones, or X, such as 0, 1, 2, and 3 respectively. While the second column and its rows will be the probability function, or P of X. What is the probability of having 0 as the number of defective cell phones X? Correct, it's 1/8, since we only have one number of zeros in the sample space which has defective cell phones among the 8 possible outcomes. What is the probability of having 1 as the number of defective cell phones X? Correct! It's 3/8, since we only have 3 numbers of 1 in the sample space which has defective cell phones among the 8 possible outcomes. What is the probability of having 2 as the number of defective cell phones X? Correct! It's 3/8, since we only have 3 numbers of 2 in the sample space which has defective cell phones among the 8 possible outcomes. What is the probability of having 3 as the number of defective cell phones X? Correct! It's 1/8, since we only have one number of 3 in the sample space which has defective cell phones among the 8 possible outcomes. Did you follow that?
Oh yeah!
Next is, we have to construct the formula form of the probability distribution. What do you think will be the formula or the probability function in the given problem? Absolutely! P of x is equal to 1/8 if x is equal to 0 and 3, while P of x is equal to 3/8 if x is equal to 1 and 2. Lastly, we will draw the corresponding probability histogram of the given data. To construct a histogram of a probability distribution, let's follow these steps. Step 1. Plot the values of the random variable or number of defective cell phones along the horizontal axis, such as 0, 1, 2, and 3. Step 2. Plot the probabilities or P of x along the vertical axis, such as 1/8 or 0.125 and 3/8 or 0.375. Hence, the coordinates will be 0, 0.125, 1, 0.375, 2, 0.375, and 3, 0.125. And step 3, graph and shade the regions of the histogram. Are you following me?
Oh yeah!
Nice job! Now, let's try to determine whether the distribution represents a probability distribution for a discrete random variable. I'll be reading the problems. Start answering. You are given 20 seconds each item. Questions. Number 1. If x is equal to 1, 5, 7, 8, 9, while its corresponding P of x is equal to 1/3 going to 9 respectively. Is this a discrete probability distribution? Correct! It's a no, because the summation of P of x is greater than 1. Number 2. If x is equal to 3, 3, 2, 1, 0, while its corresponding p of x is equal to 0.10, 0.30, 0.40, 0.10, and 0.10 respectively. Can we consider this as a discrete probability distribution? Correct! It's a yes, because the summation of p of x is equal to 1. Number 3. If x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, while its corresponding p of x is equal to 1/6, 5/18, 2/9, 1/6, 1/9, and 1/18 respectively. Do you think it is a discrete probability distribution? Correct! It's a yes, because the summation of p of x is equal to 1. Did you follow that? There you have it, learners! Let's consider another problem in which you will be able to determine whether the given problem can serve as a probability distribution of a random variable x. Here we go. If p of x is equal to x over 6, for x is equal to 1, 2, and 3, do you think it can serve as a probability distribution of a random variable x? Precisely, it is a yes, because if we replace the values of x into 1, the probability function or p of x is equal to x over 6, then we will get 1/6. If we substitute 2 as the value of x, then we will have 2/6 or 1/3. Lastly, we'll get 3/6 or 1/2 if the value of x is 3. Thus, the sum of the probabilities of the values equals 1. Did you understand, class?
Oh yeah!
Now, it's your turn to answer the following problems by identifying whether the following problems can serve as a probability distribution of a random variable x. Use an extra sheet of paper for your calculations. I'll be reading the problems. Start answering. You are given 40 seconds each item. Questions. Number 1. P of x is equal to 1/8. For x is equal to 1, 2, 3, going to 8. Do you agree that it can serve as a probability distribution of a random variable x? Yes or no? Number 2. P of x is equal to x minus 3 over 7. For x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do you think it will represent as the probability distribution of a random variable x? Yes or no? Number 3. P of x is equal to 12 over 25x. For x is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Can it serve as a probability distribution of a random variable x? Yes or no? Alright! Ballpens up. Check your papers honestly. Here are the answers. Activity 1 for number 1. Yes, because if we get the summation of P of x for 1/8 going to 8 respectively, the probability function yields 1, meaning it satisfies the condition of probability function that is equal to 1. For number 2, no, because if we replace the given values of x and simplify, our P of x would be -2/7, -1/7, 0/7, 1/7, and 2/7 respectively. Thus, it leads to 0 as we go through to the summation in which the condition of probability function does not satisfy. And for number 3, yes, because if we substitute the given values of x and simplify, we have the following P of x: 12 over 25 or 0.48, 12 over 50 or 0.24, 12 over 75 or 0.16, and 12 over 100 or 0.12 respectively. And the summation turns into 1 as the probability function which satisfies the given condition. Did you have fun in the activity?
Yes na yes!
Congratulations! That's the right attitude. Having an interest and making learning fun are some of the keys for you to understand lessons well. With that, here's a quiz that shall challenge you. Be ready. But before we proceed, let's have a short recall of illustrating the properties of a probability distribution for a discrete random variable. Can you state the two conditions? Very good. 1. Each probability P of x must be between 0 and 1. In symbols, P of x is greater than or equal to 0 but lesser than or equal to 1. 2. The sum of the probabilities of the values equals 1. In symbols, summation of P of x is equal to 1. To make it easier for you to remember the 3 ways in illustrating a probability distribution for a discrete random variable, just remember this: TFH. T stands for tabular, F for formula, and H for histogram. Did you note that?
Oh yeah!
Huwag mo nga akong maiiyakan dyan. Hindi ka artista para magdrama-drama ng ganyan. O ano naman ngayon kung binubuli ka sa school? Mahina ka kasi kaya ganyan. Yung mga pinsan mo ang tataas ng marka, tapos ikaw ano? Pumasok ka na doon at mag-aral ka na. Ang napabayaan at napahabang bullying ay maaaring maging sanhi ng depresyon. Ang mga usaping ito ay hindi biro at hindi pawang kaartehan lamang. Isang paalala mula sa kagawaran ng edukasyon at ng himpilang ito.
And here's your quiz. Let me read the following problems. Number 1. Suppose 3 coins are tossed. Let y be the random variable representing the number of tails that occur. Construct the probability distribution in tabular and formula forms. Then draw the corresponding probability histogram. Number 2. The probabilities that a patient will have 0, 1, 2, or 3 medical tests performed on entering a hospital are 6/15, 5/15, 3/15, and 1/15 respectively. Do you think it represents a probability distribution for a discrete random variable? And that's the end of our quiz for today. I hope you were able to answer all the questions. We are going to reveal the answers on the next episode. After answering the quiz, please put your answer sheet inside your plastic envelope to avoid it from getting lost. Make sure that you submit your plastic envelope on the date of retrieval at designated pickup points of your school. If you have any question or suggestion, don't hesitate to contact your math teachers. Their numbers are written on your modules. The script for this episode was written by Hensley R. Marquez. Before we say goodbye, I want to share a quote saying, "You may not be able to control every situation and outcome, but you can control your attitude and how you deal with it. Thus, weigh your options carefully, take a calculated risk, and make a wise decision." Again, this has been your radio teacher, Hensley R. Marquez, now signing off. To God be the glory for always keeping us safe and healthy.
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!